Hey friends, this is Marilyn from tarotclarity.com. As some of you may be aware, my channel was reported to YouTube for being indecent. I recently showed the vintage tattoo tarot deck, and I was reported for the 8 of Swords card. So I think I'm going to have to preface every one of my videos thusly. My parameters on YouTube are that this channel is educational and not for children. If you do not want to learn about tarot, don't watch this channel. If you do not want your children to discover tarot, I highly suggest that you take some responsibility in precluding them from watching this channel. Okay? I've done as much as I can do. Now, there's nothing obscene about the 8 of Swords of the deck that I used, but my VPN had me in a country that maybe they didn't agree with that ruling, because I was told that the European panel of whoever it is that checks these things denied my appeal. So they removed my video, and I have a ping against me because I lost my appeal. So that's like a permanent mark against me. As you know, this channel is my legacy to my descendants. It's important to me on a personal level. Yes, I want to teach. I'm an educator. And I want to educate. And for anyone who wants to come take this ride along with my family, I have welcomed you with open arms. But if you're going to do stuff like that, please stay away. This channel is not for you. If you have a problem with democracy, this channel is not for you. Okay? So I'm hopefully giving you fair warning. If you don't want to learn about tarot decks, if you don't want your children to learn about tarot decks, if you're offended by an occasional breast in the context of art, and whatever other issues you have with tarot decks, please leave this channel now. You're being forewarned. Okay? All right. Today's deck, I don't think could ever get me in trouble. I hope. Oh, and I have since moved my VPN to a more liberal place. So just thought I'd mention that. So I have featured this deck on my channel, Dame Fortune's Wheel Tarot by Paul Hewson. I really like this deck. I know some tarot creators like to say that they have a blending of TDM and Rider-Waite-Smith traditions. But this one is the one I think that was done the best. And if I can find my Dame Fortune Wheel Tarot videos, I'll link them down below. If I haven't done a review or a showcasing of it, I'll rectify that and I'll do that next. But I think I have done a showcasing of it. Now, one of the reasons I really like this deck, aside from the fact that the art is beautiful, just like the Fournier Tarot of Marseille has color coding, this one does too. Now, the Triumph suit is more or less yellow. Not all the backgrounds are the same yellow. Some are orangey, some are greenish, but the title area is all yellow. For the swords, everything is orange. There is a card or two in the suit. Okay, you can see a few cards that aren't orange, but the title cards are all orange, and so forth with all the colors. We have Cups is blue, a deep saturated blue. It's beautiful. And then batons, we have a softer blue, all on the bottom. And then for the suit of coins, we have green for earth. So I thought I'd use this deck today because this deck cannot get me in trouble. I don't think there's anything as risque as a belly button in this deck. anyway, I did a video that I wanted to release regarding scum, and I have started calling him Emo Boy in my own mind. So an Emo Boy runs off my tongue a lot easier than scum. So I'm going to start calling him Emo Boy. Although I appreciate Paige's contribution, because he really, that was a perfect intermittent name for me to use. But I did some readings on Emo Boy, and boy, oh boy, they were crazy. But I was using the deck that got me in trouble, so I can't release those. And unfortunately, I had to remove all but one video I did using that deck, because I just don't want any retaliation, because I have a strike against me. If I get another one in 90 days, I think they'd punish me more severely. And I'd be devastated if I lost this channel, because this channel is my legacy to my descendants, right? But at any rate, I can't show those videos that I did on Emo Boy. And boy, oh boy, I wish that I could have shared them with you, because it looked like soonish that he'd be getting some just comeuppance, you know? And I know that's what many of us want to see. I don't want to see anybody, you know, pass away. It's not like that. See, I don't want to see any kind of damage done to anybody like that. But, you know, sometimes people bring on their own trouble. And the cards really showed that he was going to bring on his own trouble. And we have seen trouble. You know, and I want to give kudos to Wisconsin. That was the purple state. What are they called? Swing state, right? It was a swing state. One of the swing states, all of the swing states swung red, which is suspicious in and of itself. But universe bless the state of Wisconsin. They did the right thing. They did the right thing, man. And Susan Crawford was voted in, so thank you, Wisconsin. Florida, I think Florida's a lost cause. Both of the nominees that were elected were MAGA, so we'll take what we can take, right? We'll take what we can get. So anyway, I would like to do a reading on Emo Boy. He really doesn't look well. He looks like he's high as a kite all the time. He's been, you know, it's a miracle that Wisconsin went blue, because he was literally handing out $1 million checks as incentive in Wisconsin, which is illegal as you know what, but it was allowed because the judge who decided it was red. So, but that's probably not going to happen anymore. So, amen. I'll take it. So anyway, I thought I would do a nice long signature spread on Emo Boy, just to see his immediate future. You know, I don't want to say the immediate future. I'd like to see the energy, is what the universe will allow us to see, or allow me to see through the cards, to share with you what the universe feels is appropriate for me to see and understand, to share. That's my approach with the cards, okay? Sometimes we just use, you know, convenient language like see what his future is or whatever. It's not what I mean, okay? And I think those of you who have been with me long enough understand that, but I just have to put it out there because apparently some people don't get it. So I'd like to see the energy as it applies, as it pertains to us. You know, it's not like it's a third. We have a right to know what's going on with him, because he affects our lives. He shows up at town halls with electric saws. He hands out $1 million bills, checks rather, to persuade people to vote his way. What he does affects us in a big way, right? So we have a right to know what's going on with him as it applies to us. Okay, so let me go off into my meditative place so I can handle the cards and appeal to the universe. And I'll be right back. There are a few other things I liked about this deck, and that's that the correspondences agree with mine, and so that makes it easier for me to read. You know, sometimes it's harder when the correspondences, like the elemental associations, aren't the same, but they're the same as mine. And this particular deck, I think mine was printed in 2008. Here are the backs. Okay, so what the universe allows us to know as regards Emo Boy, what upcoming behaviors of his or situations that he'll be in that we need to know about. Eight of Coins. Oh, it's always about money, isn't it? Always about money. Knave of Cups. Six Swords. So we have three different suits represented. Coins and cups play together well. Cups and swords, kind of neutral to each other. Not as nice. They don't play as well as coins and cups, but a little bit of an agitation, but not bad. Coins, 2 coins under 8 coins. Swords. Now air and earth don't get along too well, so this could be, these two could set each other off in a not positive way. And then we have batons. Batons and swords are 2 aggressive suits, and they fall next to each other and above and below one another here. So just keep an eye on the front and center card is the King of Swords. 3 coins. Wow. So we have the money trail right here. We have a money trail. That's interesting. And it continues. Wow. You know how maniacal I am. Wow. And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And you know how maniacal I am with shuffling the cards. I riffle shuffle 11 times and then overhand shuffle 21. And then I come here and do a handful. So what are the odds of 1, 2, 3, 4? Well, you just faint if it's a 5? No, it's not. Okay, it's 8 swords. So we have 8 swords next to, we have swords next to air. Excuse me, earth rather. So we have air and earth next to one another. So those, you know, we can get some negative aspects of the 4 over here. So let me go off and do the quint cards for those of you who are familiar. I sound like a broken record, but there's always somebody who just joins me just for the first time during one of these spreads, and then they say, could you give me the how you did that? Just remember, this is a spread that I invented. I developed this spread. I'm proud of this spread. It's a great spread. You're more than welcome to use this spread, but if you do, I expect, you know, I would appreciate acknowledgement. Okay? You can say it's Marilyn from Tarot Clarity. That would be fine. Okay, so we have 8, and my eyes can't see so far. 8 and 6 is 14, so that would be Temperance here. Remember, I do not include the numeric values for the court cards. Here we have 2 and 7, that would be 9, that would be the Hermit. And we have 3 and 4, which is 7. 7 and 8 is 15, so we would have the Devil card. And then I add those numbers. If it's greater than 22, which it will be, I subtract 22, and then I keep subtracting 22 until I get a number between 0 and 21. Another reason why I love this deck is that justice and fortitude are properly numbered. Okay, I'll be right back. One of the things I do like about this deck, aside from things I've already said, is that the Triumph suit is not really associated with like water, earth, air, or fire, like many other deck creators will say. You know, the Tower card is this suit. Is this element. It's its own, right? I have always seen the Triumph cards as their own suit. And that's one of the things that I really love about this deck, is that the Triumph cards is their own suit. I don't know what element you might want to call it. You might call it ethereal or part of the universe or the spirit, whatever it is that you want to call it. But the other ones are more of the earth. And the Triumph cards, for me, aren't. And that's one of the things that I really love about this deck. Okay, so notice we have the Devil in the Tower card, which is interesting because we see that quite a lot when we investigate You Know Who and Emo Boy, right? Now, for those of you who are familiar with how I do this spread, I read it how I'm struck by it, right? I always notice what's the center of the core 9. I always make a mental note of that. I don't always comment on that first, but I'm trying to teach you how to do it. So I noticed that one the first. However, I really do look at these cards. So this card suggests a crash and burn, or a shakeup, or disruption. There are no people falling from the building. It's not about that. It's about vanity literally coming before the fall. So there's a lot of vanity, don't you think? We're dealing with narcissists. This is the last card laid before we get to the final quint card. This is also a quint card. But this is when I talk about vanity coming before the fall, this is classic. This is what we have here. So narcissism may come to bite him in the fanny. Another one of the, and these cards, I'll relate them to each row, when we get there, but I just want to indicate that this center row, we see the hermit with an hourglass, not with a light, which is another reason why I love this deck, because there's the understanding that the hermit has the hourglass, that the passage of time. And then we have detoxification, lessening the toxicity of something. So let's get into the meat of the tomato. Now, while it might be tempting to see Emo Boy as the King of Swords because it's front and center, I don't see him as a king. In fact, I'm more inclined to see Emo Boy, and I hate to say it because it's my boyfriend, as the Page of Cups, because there's a depth of emotional immaturity, I think, is my assessment. I'm the one who's interpreting the cards, and that's how I see it. There's a depth of emotional, immaturity, which has, I guess, been dependent on money, like I said, we have, what did I say this was? Originally, I think I said, I miscalled what this card was. This is 8 of coins. So I think I said something about it, them being like a straight, but I was wrong. So I apologize for that. But we have 8, 2, 3, 4. So we have 2, 3, 4, and then we have 1, 8. So I guess I saw that as an ace, didn't I? It kind of looks like a giant one. So I apologize for that earlier. But it's still the same regarding the money, the availability of money, right? We just have a trail, follow the money. Follow the money. And where does the money take us? To misery. And who's he pointing at? The devil. So he's lost his soul. Maybe that'll be made clear. Maybe that'll be made clear in the next month or two. Remember, my little spell over there needs some water. I swear to goodness, that thing evaporates quicker than I can keep up with it. My original reading, which is what that spell is about, was that in March and April, we were going to see significant crash and burn or significant downfall. And I'm keeping that bad boy going until it happens. But doesn't this look like it? Doesn't it? an abundant, starts out good, he's like a spoiled brat. They ate the coins, is like everything's great. He's got more money, he's got a partnership with somebody. And I don't see, who is the King of Swords either, because he's also an infant. He's got a lot of power. He could do a lot of damage in that regard. Maybe we could see him as the King of Swords, but I see the King of Swords usually as somebody who has intelligence. He isn't, well, I mentioned when I laid the cards that next to air, this would offset his characteristics. So this could be who. Wow. And in any regard, the real person in power. So if it isn't who, it's his team, right? So we have this partnership, and then it continues to grow, but it's unstable because we get it's unstable in a big way. It's unstable in a big way because these two cards don't play nice together. Wow. So his money has been his downfall. I don't see any cards from the suit of like justice, I don't see the justice card, rather. Now we do see three swords, which could suggest justice, but this guy isn't just. So, we're going to disregard that as far as justice goes. Somebody's fleeing here. Somebody's fleeing him. So we have 6 swords, which is a perfect number. It's fleeing him to detoxify. So maybe somebody will jump camp. Maybe somebody will jump camp, break ranks. Maybe somebody will spill the beans regarding him. Maybe something could have been somebody who once loved him. 6 is a perfect number. So maybe somebody considered close to him is fleeing from his influence to detoxify. So it's possible that maybe somebody will stab him in the back. It doesn't say that literally, but it kind of is the feel I get. And then 7 of batons, people organizing. People organized in Wisconsin. People will be organizing April 5th to protest. And I'm not sure if it's worldwide or not, but I know that there's a concerted effort, at least here. Now, I know this is the 3 of coins and not a chariot per se, but he is in a parade, and he is somebody who has a car company. So it could be, the money and the bad reputation and everything is soiling his brand name. I think that's the second time I saw, it might have been in the other reading actually, the one that I did with the other deck that I can't show. I think there might have been something similar about him damaging his brand. That's very interesting. So Emo Boy, his money has always served him. He got into a partnership with somebody with power, but who is corrupt power, because it's offset by it's not a high ranking 2, so it's not like it's hugely corrupting. But with this underneath it, there's more that flanks him, right? So he's corrupt on more than one side. So there's a corruption. Now, he might have corrupted him more than this one was just stupid, right? Who was just stupid. He was evil because he was stupid and he was easily controlled by other people. But now he's got a lot of people around him that are calling the shots because he's so easy to control. But he's out of control. And so is this one, So Emo Boy is accustomed to getting his way. He's joined a corrupt force. His brand is getting off. And because this offsets this, This offsets this in a big way. So this isn't the stability that he thought it would be, because this is a much higher number than this. So this is influencing this more than this is influencing this. And he's having a dark time of the soul. You know, now I normally would see 8 swords as being when a collective thought, right? Collective thought. When you get past 8, when you get into like 9 and 10, then it becomes action. This card, I'm reading the deck, this card shows really being close to the 9, closer to the 9 than the 8. So none of this served him well. Maybe he's having some moments of clarity. I doubt it. People like that never have moments of clarity. We can see it easily being spelled out here. We can easily see it, but I don't think he can. So it's his downfall. It's been his downfall. Somebody looks like they'll betray him, or somebody looks like they're splitting from him to do some detoxification. Somebody, maybe this is, this has already happened. This is already Wisconsin. Maybe Wisconsin already happened. So maybe this isn't Wisconsin. But the organization of people moving it forward to see the light. Maybe more people will see the light. Wisconsin saw the light. That was a swing state. It's very suspicious that all the swing states voted their way, because that isn't likely to happen without corruption or without some type of interference. But maybe more of the people will be less likely to stay home and not vote. They came out, despite being handed $1 million checks, man, they came out in Wisconsin. They saw the light. And maybe it'll be his downfall. It'll either be his downfall or something that hurts us. But the way these cards look, it looks like it's more to his detriment. I mean, it's survival here, right? I don't want to see anybody go down, but I'd rather he go down than take us with him. Now, this is a tarot reading. This is what happens on tarot channels. We show tarot cards and we interpret cards. I need to keep reminding, just in case somebody has been watching this all along and thinking, that I'm doing something I ought not to be. But this is the nature of interpreting cards. This is the art of tarot. Okay? And I'm sorry to be speaking to my regular folks. I'll get over it soon. I'm just a bit salty about someone having done that. I mean, there's dozens of people who have shown that deck. And let me turn the camera. Hold on. I looked to see how many other people might have done that deck, right? There are people who have 10, 20, 30, upward of 30,000 subscribers who have shown that deck to considerably more people than my lousy, well, not lousy, but my tiny 3,000, I'm not talking about my subscribers as lousy. I'm talking about the low number, as being a lousy, number. If you want to pick on somebody, why wouldn't you pick on somebody that has 40, 50,000 subscribers? Why pick on somebody who barely has any? I don't know. I think I know who it was. They left me some remarks, which I hid from the channel. So if you're answering this, no one's going to see it because you have been hidden. Do I seem mean? I'm angry. When you're a nice guy, just like the Democrats, when you're a nice guy and you play nice, what happens? So when somebody oversteps the boundary, you gotta be firm. Otherwise, it doesn't always end well for the nice one. I'll be back to normal in a couple videos. I'm sure I'm just kind of annoyed. Until next time, friends, peace, stay well, and be kinder than I am. I'm a little salty.